You know that feeling, right? You settle in, you've got your snacks, you're starting a new drama, maybe a BL series.
Yeah.
You meet the main couple, and they're great. The chemistry's there, the banter's flying, everything is going exactly to plan. You can see the whole story laid out.
It's comfortable. It's, familiar.
Exactly. But then the whole vibe just shifts. The
Yeah.
music gets a little softer, the camera pans over, and he walks into the frame.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually not the loudest guy. He might just be standing there holding a coffee or something. But he looks at the main character with this like terrifyingly gentle expression, and your stomach just drops.
Yeah.
You freeze and you think, "Oh no, I like him better."
And just like that, you're in trouble.
Big trouble. Because you know deep down this man is not going to win, but you can't help it.
You have just perfectly described the start of a very specific and very painful condition. It's second lead syndrome.
So today we are doing a deep dive on second lead syndrome, or SLS. And looking at our notes here, this isn't just some funny internet meme, is it? One of our sources calls it a full-blown phenomenon.
It is. Another one called it a soft emotional ambush, which I think is probably the best description I've ever heard.
It really is an ambush, because you don't see it coming until it's way too late.
Right. So to define it clearly, second lead syndrome is a trope, but it's really more of a viewer experience. It's when the audience just overwhelmingly prefers the secondary love interest.
Even though you know with like 100% certainty that the protagonist is going to end up with the main lead.
That's the key, right? The certainty. We aren't confused. We know the main couple is endgame. The poster has the other guy on it.
But we fall for this guy anyway, the one who's gentle and supportive and patient. And we just have to watch him episode after episode marching toward his own heartbreak.
And we march right along with him. And that's the central mystery we're unpacking today. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we root for the guy who is absolutely destined to lose?
And maybe more interestingly, how do writers manipulate us into this? Because according to these sources, this is not an accident, it's a calculated narrative trap.
It's a trap.
I feel so called out right now. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of this trap. Why do we fall for them in the first place?
Well, that's the hook. The source material argues that it all begins with this very specific craving for safety.
Safety? That's interesting. I would have thought romance shows are sold on, the sparks, the drama.
True, but think about a typical romance arc. The main relationship is almost always built on friction.
Yeah, enemies to lovers or a big misunderstanding.
Exactly. A lot of chaotic energy. It's exciting to watch, sure, but psychologically it's kind of stressful. It represents chaos.
Okay, I see where you're going. The main lead is the guy who, grabs your wrist to have a dramatic argument in the rain.
Yes. Whereas the second lead, he represents regulation. He's the steady hand. He's the one bringing soup when they're sick or noticing the tiny expressions that everyone else misses.
There's a line in our notes that really stood out. It says the main lead is who you want to watch on screen for entertainment, but the second lead is who you'd actually want to date in real life.
And that's the whole disconnect. We're sitting there, tired from our actual lives, and we crave that stability. The writers give us this genuinely good person, emotionally intelligent, patient, kind, and then the narrative forces us to watch that good person get rejected.
And it creates this weird conflict, doesn't it? It stops feeling like it's about the show and starts feeling like it's about, justice.
That is exactly what the psychological breakdown in these articles suggests. It's not just a crush. It becomes an emotional investment. You're investing in the idea that being good should be rewarded.
Right.
So when the story decides that the bad boy or the chaotic soulmate wins anyway, it feels like the show is breaking a social contract.
It feels rigged. You're just sitting there thinking, but he did everything right. Why is he losing?
Because the game was never about doing things right. And witnessing that unfairness, well, that's what hooks us. We're not just watching a story anymore. We're watching a cosmic injustice.
Okay, we have to talk about some of the heavy hitters. The sources brought up some examples that honestly might need a trigger warning for some people listening.
I have a feeling I know exactly who you're about to mention.
We have to start with Kim Jong-han from Reply in 1988. The notes literally say he single-handedly made a generation of viewers emotionally unstable.
It's the archetype. The perfect example. He was all about that silent, selfless devotion. He hesitated not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much. He loved from the shadows.
And when he lost, it felt like we lost.
It did. These characters are emotional magnets. The second they show up, you basically sign up for the pain because they feel so real and so deserving.
So we fall for them because they feel safe. But the writers don't stop there. They have like a playbook of specific archetypes designed to just maximize the damage.
Right. And the argument is these aren't accidental. They're distinct narrative tools designed to target different viewer insecurities.
Okay, let's start with the first one. The source calls this the selfless protector or the ultimate green flag.
This is the character who loves without possession. He protects without controlling. He's the fantasy of being loved gently.
Which sounds perfect. So why does it hurt so much when this type loses?
Because it triggers our desire for what the source calls safe love. And when the story rejects him, it feels like the story is saying that kindness just isn't enough.
That is brutal. It's like the show is saying nice guys don't just finish last, they don't even finish the race.
Pretty much. It invalidates the virtue of patience. It says that drama will always outweigh devotion.
Okay, that makes me mad just thinking about it. What about the second one? The perfect package.
This one attacks our logic. The perfect package is usually more mature, stable, better at communicating.
He's the resume candidate.
Exactly. The main lead might be messy or emotionally unavailable. Meanwhile, the perfect package has a 401k and probably goes to therapy.
Oh, I hate this one. This is when you're literally screaming at the screen like, why are you crying over that guy who ghosted you when this one is standing right there?
It creates this intense viewer frustration because the rejection just feels illogical. It makes you question the protagonist.
It makes you question their taste. You start thinking, you know what, maybe I don't want you to be happy if you're going to be this foolish.
Right. It totally alienates you from the main couple, but it builds massive sympathy for the second lead.
And the third one, the unlucky in love.
This is the most manipulative one, I think. This is the character with the sad backstory. Maybe they were abandoned or they've just never been chosen before.
So they're already sad before the romance even starts?
Yes. And the show goes out of its way to highlight their loneliness. You'll see them eating alone or looking at a phone that doesn't ring.
It's the puppy in the rain trope.
Exactly.
Oh.
And we stop rooting for them romantically and start rooting for them existentially. We just want the universe to give them one win, just one.
And when they don't get it?
It feels like a cosmic insult. It reinforces this deep fear that some people are just destined to be unhappy.
That is heavy, but it explains why the reaction is so visceral.
And that brings us to the mechanics, the how. There is literally a toolbox of torture that writers use.
Let's open the toolbox. What's the first weapon?
The near misses. The source says this is the most evil and effective tactic for building hope.
This is the timing thing, isn't it?
The timing thing. He's about to confess. He's 5 minutes late. A phone rings right before the kiss. A car splashes a puddle on him.
It drives me crazy because you think if that traffic light had just been green, they'd be married with 2 kids by now.
And that's the trick. It creates this what-if timeline in your mind. The source says it weaponizes hope. It makes the loss feel accidental instead of inevitable, which is so much worse.
Yeah, you feel like you could just reach in and fix it.
Then you have the what-if scenarios. This is where they show us little glimpses of domestic compatibility.
Like them just grocery shopping.
Exactly. Low-stakes intimacy. They're cooking dinner or just sitting in comfortable silence. It shows us an alternate universe where they work perfectly.
It's not dramatic, it's just nice.
And this forces you to mourn not just what happened, but what could have happened.
They show you the life you want for them and then just snatch it away. That is cruel.
And finally, there's strategic vulnerability. Usually, the second lead is the rock. He's composed. He's the shoulder everyone cries on.
Until he isn't.
Until that one scene. The writers wait until you are fully reliant on his strength, and then they have him crack. A voice break, a single tear, or the deadliest one crying alone in his car.
The crying alone scene is fatal. I can think of 5 right now that still haunt me.
It works because of the contrast. When the strong one finally breaks, the viewer shifts from just watching a character to wanting to protect a heart. And once you want to protect them, you're locked in for good.
We really are just pretty in their hands, aren't we?
We are. And they know it.
I want to pivot a little because the deep dive really emphasizes that this whole thing hits differently in BL or boys love dramas. Why is it so much more intense in this genre?
It's a mix of fandom culture and the stories themselves. First, you've got what's called OTP pressure.
OTP, one true pairing.
Correct. In BL fandoms, the main coupleship is this huge machine. You have hashtags, fan meetings, merch. The main couple is an institution.
So the second lead isn't just fighting the other character, he's fighting the marketing department.
He's fighting the entire fandom ecosystem. His loss is basically predetermined by thousands of tweets before the show even airs. It makes his struggle feel incredibly hopeless.
It adds this layer of, like, Greek tragedy to it.
Exactly. Then there's the trope of sacrificial love, which is huge in a lot of Asian BL.
Yeah.
The whole, I love you enough to let you go idea.
The I just want you to be happy speech.
Yes. It's romanticized as this ultimate form of pure love. He smiles through the pain and often even helps the main couple get together.
Which is noble, I guess, but also infuriating.
It is. Because the person giving them the most sacrifice, the most patience, gets the least. It's that nice guys finish last fear, but dialed up to 11.
And the source mentioned something about the queer narrative adding weight here.
This is a really crucial point. For a lot of viewers, BL isn't just escapism, it's representation. It's about seeing a happy ending in a world that hasn't always provided them for queer people.
So when one of the characters doesn't get that happy ending,
It can tap into a much deeper, maybe subconscious fear. The fear that some people just don't get chosen. That you can be good and kind, and you'll still end up alone.
wow. So it's not just he didn't get the boy, it's, does this mean I won't get the boy?
For some, yeah. It highlights this desire for more diverse happy endings. We want to see that the quiet, kind, stable person can also find love, not just the star-crossed, dramatic ones.
That leads perfectly into the final section of this deep dive, which is about us, the viewers. The source argues that second lead syndrome is, ultimately, a mirror.
Absolutely. The pain is a projection. If you strip it all away, this is about the universal experience of unrequited love.
I think most of us have been there, loving quietly from the sidelines.
Yeah, hoping to be noticed, being the friend. Second, leads embody that. They're a fantasy version, sure, richer, better looking, but the core emotion is so recognizable. Watching them lose feels like watching a part of our own past lose.
And it validates that insecurity.
And that connects to what the source calls projecting values. We say we value kindness, patience, loyalty. We tell our kids to be good. We want to believe that the world is a just place that rewards good people.
But the second lead story tells us the opposite. It says the messy, chaotic person gets the prize.
Right. And when the second lead loses, it feels like a personal betrayal of that belief system. It forces us to face that uncomfortable truth that sometimes timing just isn't fair. Chemistry is random.
That is a hard pill to swallow on a Tuesday night.
It is.
Ooh.
But there's a flip side to all this pain. The source talks about community grief.
The fun part. The memes.
It's the catharsis. Second lead syndrome turns all that sadness into connection. You go online and see thousands of other people ranting, making those he deserved better edits on TikTok.
It's like a massive group therapy session.
It validates the emotion. It transforms this solitary heartbreak into a collective experience. There's comfort in knowing everyone else is just as devastated as you are.
It turns the sadness into a community. We are all in this heartbreak hotel together.
Exactly.
So we've covered the trap, the archetypes, the manipulation. But what happens when the screen goes black? The main couple gets their sunset. Where does that leave our second lead?
This is where the source offers a really beautiful, kind of haunting perspective to close us out.
Okay, lay it on me.
The argument is that while the main couple gets closure, the second lead gets memory.
Memory? What do you mean?
Because they never got the relationship. They're never ruined by reality. We never saw them fight about the dishes or get bored of each other. They live forever in the what if.
Oh, wow. They stay perfect because they never became real.
Exactly. They become the possibility that never happened. And in our minds, that makes them immortal. The source says the main couple is the plot, but the second lead is the feeling that stays with you.
So, in a weird, twisted way, they actually win by losing.
They win our hearts, that's for sure. They linger. 10 years later, you might not remember the main couple's plot, but you will absolutely remember how the second lead looked standing in the rain. You'll remember the ache.
That is surprisingly comforting. Sad, but comforting.
It means their love wasn't wasted. It was just preserved.
So, to everyone listening, the next time you're starting a new show, and you see that character who is just a little too kind, a little too patient,
Brace yourself.
know that you are walking into a trap. You are about to fall in love with someone the story will not choose.
And it is going to hurt. The writers have designed it to.
But remember, that pain means you're human. It means you value kindness in that character. You will remember him forever, probably longer than the actual couple.
Indeed. He lives in the what if.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the beautiful agony of second lead syndrome. Thanks for getting your heart broken with us today.
It was a pleasure to analyze the pain with you.
We'll see you next time. Take care of your hearts, everyone.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one.